Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Is my voice clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everyone to our introductory webinar. So it's great having you here, guys. So I'll be your host for today. I'll be walking you through today's program. So first things, we'll be introducing our ambassadors for IEEEXtreme this year. Then we'll be introducing IEEE. After that, we'll be introducing IEEEXtreme competition. And we'll be having some guests coming today for a Q&A session with the Prince Sultan University team who ranked first place in Saudi Arabia on the competition last year. And then we'll be having another esteemed guest, Mohammed Abu Laila, section lead of Egypt, who's going to introduce their training camp to us. And yeah, at the end, we'll have a Q&A session. And finally, we have a little challenge for you, so stay tuned, okay? So make sure to follow us on our accounts to stay updated on the workshops we're going to give in the future. Okay, so we'll start off by introducing the ambassadors. So I'll be introducing myself. My name is Samiha Youssef. I'm the Saudi Arabia section lead of IEEEXtreme for this year. And I'm an artificial intelligence student at the University of Jeddah. I'm also the vice chair of our student branch at the University of Jeddah. Okay, Cuneyt, you can start.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cuneyt Axoy. I am a IEEEXtreme ambassador for this year's competition. And I am a junior computer science student at Prince Sultan University. Raed?
Hello, everyone. My name is Raed Akif. I am an ambassador for this year, IEEEXtreme, and I'm representing my university, King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, guys. We also have two other ambassadors who weren't able to join us. We have Hiba Hisham from Sultan Abdulaziz University and Abdullah Dulushi from Yumba Industrial College. Okay, so we'll start off by introducing what IEEE is. So I'll hand you to Raed. You can take over, please.
Okay, so let's start by introducing what is IEEE أو إيش هو IEEE بالمعنى العام. Can you just take control of these slides, please? Okay. IEEE as a word, it stands for Institution of Electrical and Electronics Engineer. So this is the abbreviation. هذا اختصارها. So why is it important? Why should I go as a student? Well, basically, IEEE is the world's largest technical professional organization dedicated to advancing technology for the benefits of humanity. And whom does it serve? Basically, it serves anyone, doesn't reject anyone because of a profession, but being a person who is in a field of electrical engineering, you would be most likely to take benefits of this institution. Why? Because you will gain access to IEEE resources, the library, and as we will see, even attending webinars and more in the next slides. So as we go to the next slide, our mission is the IEEE core purpose is to foster technological innovations and excellence for the benefits of humanity. Our vision is to be essential to the global technical community and to technical professionals everywhere, and be universally recognized for the contributions of technology and of technical professionals in improving global conditions. Moving on. IEEE facts, or let's say at a glance, we have more than 420,000 members in more than 160 countries worldwide. 50% of them are outside the United States. More than 120,000 members who are students, with 340 sections, almost in 10 geographical regions in the world. We have 39 societies, 7 technical councils representing the wide range of IEEE technical interests, such as smart grids. We have also power society, communication, and etc. More than 4.5 million documents were posted in the IEEE Explore. Some of them are researches, which we can use to support our senior research, the graduation, or etc. Plus, in addition, we have more than 8 million downloads are being downloaded of these documents each month. 1,250 plus active standards and more than 700 standards under development. Publishes are approximately 200 in terms of journal, magazines, researches. So what resources we can take, or what are the channels we can go through? We have the IEEE Spectrum magazine, we have IEEE.tv, the institution newsletter, potential magazine, and of course the IEEE digital library, which is the most familiar one.
Okay, thank you, Raed, for that explanation. Okay, so before we hand you to Cuneyt to explain IEEEXtreme, I would like to ask the audience, is anyone a student member? If you are a student member at IEEEXtreme, just type in 1 in the chat, please. Just want to see if you guys are members or not. Okay, great, we do have members. Okay, nice. So my next question is, did any one of you participated in IEEEXtreme last year? If you did, just type in 2. So yeah, some of you guys have an idea. Great. Okay, Cuneyt, so the floor is yours. Please start introducing IEEEXtreme to the audience.
Thank you, Samiha. Now I will introduce you to IEEEXtreme. I will explain this competition, which is actually the main reason that we're gathering here today. We will explain what is IEEEXtreme, how the competition actually takes place, and several other details. Next slide, please. So first of all, let's start simple. What is IEEEXtreme? Well, it's a global competition, programming competition that is held by IEEE, of course, which takes over a 24-hour period in which students are expected to solve programming competition questions. Of course, you would have to be a part of a team, and these teams are usually backed by a student branch. The second point is, when is IEEEXtreme? The date is actually October 23rd, 2021. The third point is, when can you register for IEEEXtreme? Registration actually already opened. It opened more than a week ago, and you have plenty of time. You have until the 1st or the 2nd week of October until registration closes. And the last point is, who can join IEEEXtreme? Simply everyone, literally everyone can join, regardless of your background, your major, your expertise level, your academic ranking, doesn't matter. Everyone can join this competition, and it's really about the experience of this competition. Okay, so we talked about very briefly what is IEEEXtreme. And now I would like to very quickly explain what makes IEEEXtreme unique from other coding competitions. Now, the first point that we really take pride in is how global IEEEXtreme is. We have thousands of participants joining every year from more than 70 countries. And we always try to make sure that we have as big a community as possible. So that's our main point here. The second one is, we don't discriminate against anyone. You know, for example, if your major is different, as we already mentioned, or if you're just a beginner in programming or anything like that, we are always aiming to welcome more and more students. And the third point is how oriented we are, how careful we are to make this competition as good as possible. Of course, we have been doing this for years now, 15 years to be exact, and we're always trying to improve more and more to make sure this is a very good and healthy experience for our students. Okay, now we took an introduction to IEEE-Extreme. Now you might ask, how does the competition really work? The structure of the competition, what is it like? What can I expect? So in this slide, I will answer a few of those questions. First of all, as we already mentioned, you will be in teams, and every team will have maximum 3 members in it, okay? And these teams are usually backed by a student branch. They're supported by a student branch at your universities. And of course, as you can expect, you are expected to work together for these questions. The duration is 24 hours. The whole competition will start and finish in 24 hours, and it will start at 000 UTC time zone. Basically for us, that is 3 a.m., around 3 a.m. And when you start the competition, you will receive questions on an hourly basis. For example, you might start the competition with a welcome message, and then in the first hour, let's say you will have 3 questions available to you, okay? And then from those 3 questions, for example, you guys can decide which one to tackle first. That would depend on your team. And of course, as you can probably expect, the more questions you solve, the more points you score. You might have different tactics. For example, if you get stuck on a question for too long, you might decide to move on, etc. That is all up to you. The next point is, how do I actually do it? Like which platform, basically. And for this year, we will use csacademy.com. That will be our online platform. That is basically where you will receive all the questions, all the instructions. That is where you will see, that is where you will write your code. That's where you will compile your code and everything. It's going to be in one place, and it's going to be CS Academy. And the third point is, the competition is free to join. IEEE-Extreme is free, but you do need a IEEE student membership to join. And don't worry about this. We will have details. We will have pamphlets sent out to you guys that is explaining all the steps, how to register for IEEE-Extreme, what are the required steps and everything. So don't worry about that. Next slide, please. Okay. So another question you guys might have is, what do I really need to know? Like, what are the topics I need to know for this competition? And they're right in front of you. But I do want to say one thing. Don't get scared when you look at this. I know there are a lot of points. There are a lot of topics. But the reason we did this is to make sure that everything is included. So everything related to the competition is right in front of you. This doesn't mean that you're supposed to know all of them by heart. We just tried to include every topic to make sure you guys don't run into any surprises, okay? And another point I want to mention is, a lot of these topics they actually go hand in hand. For example, if you look in the first column, junior level, and if you look towards the bottom, you can see binary search. And more towards the bottom, you can see recursion. Now, if you have taken programming before, you would know that recursion and binary search, they usually go hand in hand. They usually are studied together. So a lot of these are connected, basically. This is just a quick overview of our prizes. Of course, we do have prizes for our participants. We have prizes for first place, second place, third place, 4th to 10th. We have top 100. And again, we will share a pamphlet with all these details that you can read on your own time. We just have a few more slides to go. I just want to briefly talk about proctors in this competition and why it's important. A proctor is basically someone that overlooks the team, that makes sure everything goes as smoothly as possible, and you need proctors for the competition, okay? Now, a proctor is someone that is an IEEE member of higher membership. So not an undergraduate student, not a graduate student. They could be your counselors. They could be the department, the head of the department at your university. They could be anyone, just not undergraduate or graduate student members. And these proctors, they have a couple of tasks. First one is to make sure that the competition goes out smoothly, to make sure all the participants are aware of the competition and what's going on. The second point is to inform the students of the time deadlines. For example, when the competition begins, during the middle of it and during the end of it, when there's 1 hour left, because it's easy to lose track in this competition. It's easy to lose track of time. The third point is very simple, but very important, to make sure that no external help is provided to these students. Of course, as you can imagine, plagiarism is not allowed. So the students are supposed to come up with the solutions on their own without the help of anyone outside. And fourthly, it's just a rule. A proctor can only have up to 20 teams under them. Now, if all of this sounds confusing, don't worry at all. Because if you need help in finding a proctor, if you need help in locating a proctor, just reach out to IEEEXtreme at IEEE.org, or reach out to us on our social media channels, and we will help you find a proctor. One more tiny thing, but the most important part is you need your proctor to confirm your team. What do I mean by that? When you go on the website to register, you will add your team members one by one, and at the end, you will add your proctor. Now you'll click your proctor, you will click submit, and instantly your proctor will receive an email asking them to verify your team. This is very important, guys. If the proctor does not confirm your team, you may not be able to compete, and you may not actually receive the certificates. Okay, but that's all for this slide. This very simply, we will launch a timeline for you guys, basically dates and times of workshops, trainings, webinars, etc., to make sure you guys are as well prepared as you could possibly be, and that will all be shared later on. That was basically it for me for the IEEE part. Now, I would like to invite the team from PSU. Last year's team, they competed under the name PSU Linear Depression, and they ranked #1 in Saudi Arabia last year. So please, guys, Abdurrahman Babakar, Faisal Sajjan, and Mahtaban, welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Hi, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Hi.
Hello, guys. How are you? It's an honor having you guys here with us today. So we'll be having like a Q&A session with myself and you guys. Okay, so are you guys ready for the questions?
Sure, bring them.
Okay, so our first question is, can you please tell us about your experience that day? Like, what tactics did you use? How were the questions in terms of difficulty?
Okay, so again, hi everyone. I'm Abdurrahman Babakar from PSU Linear Depression. So how was my experience? Well, it was very much an amazing one. Programming competitions have always been one of my most favorite things that I do at university. Really puts me in the mind of a problem solver. In terms of tactics and whatnot, in the IEEE, we had like 24 hours to solve, I think around like 12 or 18 questions. One of the cool things about IEEE is that, hey, not all of you need to be restricted to one computer. You can jump from different endpoints. So we kind of like divided the questions according to difficulty, capability, and knowledge. So I would take a question, Naif would take a question, and Sajjan would take a question. Each would own his own. And then when we needed help in anything, we just ask about the problem rather than let anyone else solve our own questions. The question difficulty, well, one of the good things about IEEE is that they come in all difficulties. They're not just only aimed at like master level computer science students. No, someone who's in his freshman year who just took like the Introductory CS course can still solve some problems. And you can find them like indicated, the difficulty of each question on the website itself. Personally, I would very much love to solve the easy ones while leaving the hard ones to Naif and Sajjan. So that was basically it.
Thank you. For our next question is, how are you able to manage your time given it was like a 24-hour competition? Like the time management, sleeping schedule, how did you guys manage that?
Hi, I'm Naif. I guess for this question specifically, you're just as a heads up for anyone partaking, you're going to be expected to sleep less than you would on a normal day. The competition is going to take 24 hours, and to kind of make most use of those 24 hours, you're going to have to give away some time. But generally, how we did it was we started at, I think for us local time, the competition started at sometime around 3 a.m. or
Yes.
5 a.m. I think. Yeah, it started really, really late. So we all just made sure that we were rested coming into the competition so we can have a good start together. And then later on the day, we stayed up. And later on the day, once someone got really, really tired, we would tell the other person, the other two people, to give them a heads up. Once we give them a heads up, we go and we pass out for however many hours. And there's always two people on. So I think we always aim to have at least two people working on, actively working, while the other person rests if need be. And in terms of time management, it wasn't. It was more like we tackled it task by task. As Abdurrahman just said a second ago, we would assign a question to someone, and once that question was assigned to someone, they just try and finish it as fast as possible. I guess if I'd have one piece of advice for people taking part this year, we came in energetic starting at the beginning of the competition. I would recommend maybe missing the first 1 or 2 hours of the competition, because generally the questions are easier then and you don't need that much focus. You can probably finish them a lot quicker before the next questions come up. So I would recommend resting up just a tad bit more, but saving your energy for the rest of the competition, because then the questions come up on a timely basis. Every 2 hours, new questions drop. So in the beginning of the competition, there isn't that much to solve. So I would say that's the only piece of advice, is start, let's say 1 or 2 hours after the competition starts, just to save as much energy as possible.
Great, thank you, Nai, for the advice. So for our next question, how did you guys feel after the competition? Was it like awarding worth it?
Hello, my name is Faisal Sajjan. And for me, myself, it was very rewarding. It was my second competition, and the most gratifying part about it was...
Oh, Faisal, your voice is connected. Faisal?
Hello?
Yeah,
Oh,
it just
sorry.
came back. No problem.
Sorry about that. As I said, it was very rewarding. It was my second competition, and the most gratifying part about it was that I was able to see how much I learned. I was able to confidently solve more questions and perform much better. You can say I was able to reap the benefits of my education before I graduate, which was a very lovely opportunity.
MashaAllah. Okay, so how did you guys prepare for the competition? Like, what did you do? What topics did you ensure to learn? How did you practice? What topics did you have to cover? Like briefly.
Okay, so in terms of practice, this really wasn't last year wasn't our first try. We had our first go in the 12.0 IEEEXtreme back in 2019. And in that experience, we knew that, we needed to put in a bit more work if we wanted to rank higher. I think at that one, we were like 4th or 5th in Saudi Arabia, 900th in the world. So after that, thankfully, our university provided us with some really nice practice sessions with our proctor at the time, Dr. Basit. We would have weekly meetings where we'd come and just solve problems. Lots of these sites and programs on the web, they're available. They can help you get used to these questions, and it's always a style that once you're accustomed to, you'd pretty much know how to solve them on the spot. Now we didn't stick by that schedule all the time. We started off practicing nicely, but during summer we kind of slept. But before the competition was October or November, we started as soon as the regular semester starts, which was September, and we had bi-weekly sessions. We'd come and solve questions, see what the algorithm problems are, see what tools we needed to learn. And also I think one of the most important skills is knowing what to research when you're facing a problem. It's like identifying, oh, this is a graph traversal problem. This is a traveling salesman problem. This one needs a Dijkstra algorithm. Because like all of these concepts and tools, you don't need to have them like really memorized, just need to like identify them. And like when you need them, you know, you Google them and then you find them and you're able to kind of like fit them into your solution and your problem.
Okay, some great advice there, you guys. Okay, so another question is, given that I'm a university student who barely finds time, like why should I participate in IEEEXtreme? Is it worth it for me as a student who's constantly busy?
Okay, I guess for this question specifically, the hosts here have already been talking quite a bit about how IEEE can help you and IEEEXtreme specifically. And just as Abdurrahman said, just as Faisal said earlier, about it kind of tells you about how much you know, how much you can learn by answering these questions and so on and so forth. But in general, I guess, in terms of being a university student and being busy and all, I really, really do think that you really need to get into the habit of doing extracurricular activities. Kind of getting used to that, getting used to the mentality of, okay, I can find time for my university, but at the same time, I'll find time for other things that benefit me. Gives you a huge, I guess, boost comparing to other people around you, around your field. Once, I'd say the best advice I ever got was to kind of get into this whole scene. Once everyone graduates, a lot of people would have probably just focused on academics and such. But those few who actually did venture out, who did challenge themselves by keeping themselves a bit more busy, really, really do have a huge advantage when it comes to hiring and such, that things after university. So I would say definitely finding the time to take on a challenge like this is really, really important, and it's definitely worth it.
Agreed. Thank you, Naif. So you guys did give us some tips about sleeping, maybe not like joining the competition at 3 a.m., maybe sleeping in a couple of hours. And Abdurrahman, you told us about knowing your algorithm so you can identify them, so you can know how to research. You guys have any other tips, recommendation, advice to the students who maybe be reluctant into joining this year's competition?
I'd say this is an opportunity to find the gaps in your knowledge and an opportunity to explore new fields. Whether it's before the competition or after, you'll find great opportunities to learn the trivial and to learn even more complex concepts and techniques. So generally look wide, and anything that interests you within computer science will probably pop up. So as I said, look wide and research different topics for the competition. It will be helpful.
Thank you, Faisal. Do you guys have any other additions or any final notes to the students?
I would just end my part is, don't be afraid to try this thing out. I know it can sound like very intimidating, especially like the slide with all of the graphs and algorithms and whatnot. Trust me, like you don't need to know every single thing. Just try it out, see what's like. I really find like few things can be as rewarding and as fun as competitive programming. I thought that I was like decent at computer and stuff back in like object-oriented programming, basic programming, and then this competition showed me like a new perspective. Like this is the kind of things that once you try to interview like top companies like Google and other FANG, these are the problems that you're gonna be solving. So check it out. Don't go in the mindset of, oh, I need to like, unless I'm gonna win this, I'm not gonna participate. Be like, hey, I'm gonna give this a shot and see what's it like. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, guys. It was a pleasure having you. It was like a great addition. It was like a great addition to our introductory webinar. Thank you so much, Faisal and Naif Abdurrahman.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
And thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us, you guys. Thanks so much. Okay, so for our next paragraph, we have Egypt section lead. He's gonna introduce error count. Muhammad Abu Raida. I'm sorry. Okay, so you can start.
Okay, sorry for the technical problem. I am Muhammad Abu Raida, Egypt section lead, and also the treasurer of our branch in HTI, Egypt. In Egypt section, we are working on two programs, if you know. We have on-site competition and also the LCAP. The on-site competition, next slide. Okay. So we have two projects that we are working on, which is on-site competition and the LCAP. The on-site competition are participating on the competition to make them feel the competitive of the program of the competition, as the previous students that I will very proud to see and to hear from them. They said that the college that gives them some facilities or technical support on learning and have technical support. So in the first, we can see that some students have some issues on joining the competition for the first. Yep. Here you can see we have two programs that we are working on. The first one is the on-site competition. It is a gathering of all the competitors in Egypt who are participating on the competition. It is parallel to the time of the competition, as we collect all the participants in one place. We provide them with internet support and a very natural and very clear environment to help them in thinking and getting the ideas to solve the problems. And also this environment to help them feel the competitive of the competition. If each team will compete from their homes or from their colleges or whatever the place they are competing from, they can't feel the passion of the competition. So the first one is on-site competition. We first made it in 2015, and then we continue and repeat it in 2018. On the on-site competition, we get something different, that the level of the competitors who are competitor in the competition are very low. So we imagine or produced the error camp, which is the camp that we begin to give the students some basic techniques to help them in the competition while thinking for the problem and how to solve it. We try to give them the skills to help them improve their techniques in the competition. And the error camp is made before the competition, like in August or in September. We are now working on the error camp 2021, which will have some techniques or different techniques, as it will be for the first time online, and also available for each student who are speaking Arabic. And we see that it's different to have some speaking Arabic students that have the content available in Arabic. So we provided for the first time this year. In the second slide, slide 26, please. 26. Okay, now you can see here. Okay, here you can see the content of the error camp. Firstly, we'll begin with the conditional loops and functions. It's all about reviewing the basics for the programming. So we will continue using some advanced techniques, or advanced methods like array, STL, bit masks, binary search, etc. We have more content than this we are viewing, but it's not really set for now. It will be available in the camp in 15/8. The camp instructors, some of them are from Egypt and others from other Arabic countries. We will introduce them soon on our page. You can follow our page on the links we will share with us. Or you can see it on IEEEXTreme. That's all about camps programs that we make in Egypt. So that's all. Thank you. And sorry for the technical problems before.
It's okay. Thank you, Mohammed Abu Ala, for joining us today, introducing this camp to the students. So if you could just tell us, why should our students join this camp? Just briefly, again, a summary.
The camp, it's for some students who are, they will face the problems or see how the problems doing, how is the competition, how to solve a problem, how to think for solving the problem. Not also yes, no, yes, I know the solution, I know how to solve it, but I don't know what to write or how to think for the solution. How to didn't rotate around the answer and didn't go to it directly. That's for the students for the first time participating on the competition. For those who participated before, it will be a great opportunity to revise for what they have. If they didn't have time to train, it's a very good time to uh, recover the content, the techniques that they need before. So it's a great opportunity to revise for all the students, and it will be a great opportunity to begin or to see how the competition are going to be.
So Mohammed, how can they join the camp?
Okay, you can find a registration link on our camp on Facebook. So you can see a link for the camp. And after filling the form, you will get the mail of acceptance. So you will be able to join in 15th August.
16 August, okay. Okay, thank you, Mohammed. Thank you for joining us today and sharing this amazing opportunity with our KSA students. And guys, I really encourage you to join this camp, as it's going to prepare you for the competition so you can compete strongly and professionally. Okay, so we're almost done. Thank you, Mohammed. So we're almost done. We have a Q&A session. If you guys have any questions, please send them in the chat so we can answer them. And I would like to send you a feedback sheet so we want you to like answer the questions. Did you like this webinar? Did you find it informative and stuff between those lines? So I'll be sending you the form now, but still don't go, because after you submit the survey, we're gonna introduce our mini challenge. There are awards at the end, so just stay tuned, okay? Just give me a second. I'll share with you the link for the survey. Guys, once you're done, just say you're done so we can start with the challenge, okay? If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us now. So when you're done, just say done in the chat, please. Okay, Mohammed Abu Naila sent you the Air Camp Facebook so you can register for their camp. It's gonna start on August 16th, so you guys don't miss this great opportunity. Okay, so Isra, we're gonna send out a pamphlet at the end of this session, or we're gonna post the link to the pamphlet on our social media accounts, so just make sure to follow us. So basically the pamphlet will guide you through the process of how to sign up as an IEEE student member and how to register as a team. So there's steps with screenshots and there's a video you can follow. So that's gonna be very clear for you. And regarding the proctor, you can reach out to us. So for example, you can contact me through social media accounts, or if you have my number, feel free to do it. We'll help you find the proctors so you can sign up for the competition, so don't worry. Did I answer your question? Okay, thank you. Okay, so one more minute and we're gonna start. You're welcome, Isra. Okay, so we'll start on 8 sharp. The challenge, we're gonna start it at 8, so like 1 more minute. So So meanwhile, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram so you can have access to the challenge. Okay, let's start. Cuneyt, can you walk them through the challenge, please?
Okay, guys. So we prepared sort of a small challenge for you guys, sort of to give you a taste of IEEE Extreme. It will be a very simple problem that you guys can try and tackle, and you will have to post the solution on Twitter, and the first 3 correct submissions will be awarded. Okay. So next slide, please. So this is basically how it is. Anagrams. It's a very classic question in computer-related questions. You will have 30 minutes for this, and this is basically how the question will show up in front of you in IEEE Extreme. First of all, you will have a sort of a description of what is expected of you. So you can, for example, read this right now, what the program is expected to do, what is the standard input, basically the expected input, what is the expected output, and then you also have constraints for your program, basically. Next slide, please. These are just 2 sample outputs. These are called test cases. And again, you will also have this in the competition. These are extremely important. They will basically show you a sample input and then an output. They will help you understand how the program really works and what happens in different scenarios, basically. Okay. Next slide, please. So don't worry, we will post this challenge online so you can look at each picture individually. But basically what this program is expected to do is read a number, read strings after that number, and then give you the largest subset of anagrams. Okay. And if you don't know what an anagram is, very simply, it's a word that is created by arranging the letters of another word. What do I mean by that? For example, on the right, if you look silent, if you rearrange those letters in silent, you can get listen. So those are anagrams of each other because it's the exact same letters, just in a different order. Okay, so we say these are anagrams of each other. So that's what an anagram means. So I provided another sample input, another test case. If we would provide this input to the program would output 3 because that's the largest subset of anagrams. If we look at number 1, we have parse, pairs, and spare. So those 3 are the same letters, actually. Those are all anagrams. And there are 3 words. So the program would output 3, basically. Okay. Next slide, please. Again, everything I just mentioned, their slides are posted on Twitter right now. So make sure to check it out at IEEEXtreme SA on Twitter. You can see the challenge and the details, and make sure to tag us, #IEEEXtreme_SA, and write your name as well. Okay, and then we will pick the winners from there. Just a small note, please make sure it's in text format so that we can actually copy paste the code and make sure it works. If you want to provide a link online, a drive link, that is completely fine. You can do that, but please don't send us screenshots of the code, okay?
Yeah, screenshots won't be counted. So yeah, as Cuneyt said, it needs to be in text form. And if you're going to provide the drive link, make sure you give access to anyone with the link. Okay, because if you can't access it, you won't be counted as a winner. So the first 3 submissions, correct submissions, will be awarded. So the time will be starting right now. 30 minutes exactly, you guys have. So 8:35, we're going to stop stop accepting solutions. So basically, we're not going to stop, but like we're going to consider the first 30 minutes, and we're going to take the first 3 who submits their questions. So if you guys don't have any questions, we can end now. So we'll be announcing the winners later in our account, so make sure to follow us. So I'll keep the screen if you guys want to screenshot it or something. And yes, guys, that's it for us. I would like to thank all our speakers, Faisal Abdurrahman Naif and Hamad Abu Laila. And of course, I'd like to thank our ambassador teams for making this possible. They've put lots of effort to make today's presentation, today's content, and the pamphlet that we're going to send, or we're going to post it on our social media accounts, and this challenge, of course. So thank you guys for giving us your time, and we hope you really benefited from this webinar. Okay, so thank you guys. We're going to end our meeting. So if you guys would like to take a screenshot before we end it, or it's already on Twitter, so yeah. Okay, so thank you guys. For the record, we're going to send it out. We're going to post it on our social media accounts. So as I said, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Okay. And if you got and do the form, you guys, we'll take your email addresses and we can send you the link too. So make sure to do the feedback that we sent previously. I'll send it again in case. So provide us with your email so we can send you the recording too on your emails. Okay. So thank you guys, and have a great day.